Campbell, how are you, brother?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Right, interview question 829 billion for you. Would you, in an alternative reality, would you have preferred to come through on your debut fights without the lights and the razzmatazz and work on your craft? Or do you or would you prefer what you've got now? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because some fighters say it's a blessing and a curse in your position.
Yeah, I think that's spot on, really. Like, there's positives and negatives to it. Because obviously, with the platform I was on, like, there is that added bit of pressure and everything, which does make it difficult. But I wouldn't change it just because if you want to be a champion, you've got to deal with that side of things. So I think it's better to get it done early and get like the experience out the way, like at the start of your career, so you're used to it, instead of being down the line going into a massive fight and then the nerves hitting you like later on in your career. So I just think like getting it done early, like the pressure's off now, and going forward, I can work on my craft and relax a bit more.
Could you explain to the layman, like, how it feels to have those nerves affect you physically when you're in the ring? I heard on an interview you saying it kind of, the body seizes up. Could you explain that for people who might not understand physically how that would affect you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the main thing I felt was just like my legs feeling heavy, really, because in the gym, like, one of my best assets is my engine and like my fitness, and like I'll do 6 rounds sparring, easily, comfortably, and not be blowing after, and then obviously after in a 4-rounder to feel my legs going heavy. You do feel like the nerves, and it drains the life out you a bit, but it's just like another box ticked and moving on. I've experienced it and I can just relax.
Okay, Campbell, I've got a million questions for you. Can't ask them, I have to go. If you see a face pop up at your window in the future of a camera, it's me. I need more questions, brother. Peace,
no worries,
thank you.
Mate.
Thanks, Wingy. If we go to Ames from Boxing News TV, please.
Ames here from Boxing News TV. Pleasure to speak to you again, Campbell. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. You all right?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. How do you feel? I mean, there must be like a big weight of nerves taken off of you for having gotten your debut out the way. Do you feel that lesser bit of pressure now this time round?
Yeah, definitely. Like last time, I did think I was quite relaxed until I can compare how I feel now. So that, like, you spot on. It's like a weight's been lifted, really. I enjoyed every second of not just the fight, like a whole week, but I am glad it's out the way, and going forward, it is like the pressure's off now, and I can just go in there and relax and enjoy things a lot more. Like, feeling how relaxed I am now, like, makes me spot how nervous I was that week, really.
It seemed like in your performance on your debut, you were hell bent on the KO. Was that an important thing for you to try and get?
Yeah, it was in a big way, because I was just that excited, and obviously with all the build up, I was a bit eager to please, and I think you could see, like, with I was loading up, and like, it's one of the oldest sayings in boxing: if you go looking for the knockout, it won't come. So I think it was a case of that, really, and like wasted. There would have been nervous energy burn, but I think, like, by loading up that much, I think if you told someone go and hit a bag for 3 minutes, like for 4 rounds as hard as you can, like, you'll come off it knackered. So yeah, I think with my debut, like, the nerves, and there was a bit too much eagerness, really.
Lastly, from myself, could I ask you what words you and your father shared between yourselves after that fight? Because he must have been immensely proud of watching you make your debut.
Yeah, we was just saying how, just saying he was proud because of how I handled everything. Like, he knew I was disappointed with my performance, but he just said, like, no one's the best on the debut with the nerves, and I had it probably times 100 than anyone else, like what they have to put up with. So, like we were saying, like, it weren't a bad performance, but it weren't anywhere near what I could do. And going forward, like I said before, like, the pressure is off now.
All the best at the weekend, Campbell. Thank you.
Nice one, mate.
Thanks, James. If you go to Joe from Seconds Out, please.
Hi, Campbell. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, really good. So a lot of people have been speaking about, how you felt a bit of pressure, how your gas tank wasn't necessarily the best as it usually is in sparring. But what are the positives of being in that spotlight? What was the positive sides of that whole fight week over in Gibraltar?
Yeah, there's loads of positives and negatives, and like the positives are obviously there's that many people seeing me and building that big support around me, because the supporters have been 90% of it anyway. Has been brilliant. So they're the positive sides to it. And like I touched on before, where if you want to be a champion, you're going to have to put up with being under pressure and a lot of media attention. It's better to be doing it now at the start of your career, where nothing's guaranteed in boxing, but the opponents aren't putting you under the pressures that you could be if you had to do it for the first time in a massive fight. So I think it is good to get the experience of that pressure early.
Mm-hmm. And do you think having that spotlight on you now will help you land bigger fights in the future when you want to go and grab those titles?
Yeah, definitely, because like I said, the support's been great after it. So obviously that always puts you in a great position where people want to see you in good fights, and like down the line, I think I will be in big fights, which with a lot of interest around them.
Mm-hmm. All right, brilliant. Thank you. Good luck.
No problem.
Thanks, Joe. If you go to James Lopton next, please.
Hello, Campbell, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. I know we only spoke last week, but we didn't mention too much about this fight coming up. Obviously, fighting in Manchester. Have you got a buzz about it, or because there's no fans there, does it take away from it a little bit?
No, I am absolutely buzzing. It's it's always been a dream of mine to box at the Manchester Arena, and the like I say, it would have been nice for it to have been in front of a crowd and all my friends and family, but like crowd or no crowd, like I'm still over the moon with it. It's like I say, it's always been a dream, and like it's coming true.
Do you have any memories of your dad fighting there when you was younger?
No, nothing of my dad's career. 'Cause I never went to any of his fights, not one of his or Matthew's. But like, I've got loads of boxing memories there from watching like sort of Anthony Croller, Josh Warrington, Frampton, like loads of top nights, and there's a special atmosphere there. So obviously the atmosphere is not going to be the same this weekend, but like down the line, like I want to add my name to the list of fighters that have put big nights on there.
And we spoke last week about your dad's emotion on your debut. What's his emotion been like this week for you fighting in Manchester?
Yeah, well, there's we went round and had a look at the arena like this week, and I think it brought a lot of memories back for him, and there's a bit of nostalgia there. But like we've really been really relaxed, to be honest. Like after this week compared to the week of my debut, like I thought I was pretty relaxed last time, but now I can compare the two. I'm feeling loads cooler, and like I can go in there and enjoy things.
Fantastic. All the best, mate. I'll speak soon.
That's one, mate.
Thanks, James. If you go to Carlos Toro next, please.
Hi, Campbell. Thanks so much for taking time to talk to us. You've spoken a lot about that nervous energy that you were feeling in your debut. And when you look back on that fight, how much do you sort of attribute, things that you may need to work on to whether or not to it being stuff you actually have to work on and get better, or and how much you sort of attribute to sort of maybe being that nervous energy affecting you a little bit?
Yeah, because I was disappointed with my performance after the fight, but when the dust settled, like the week after, and we'd spoke about things, I could sort of forgive myself. Really, if the things that I weren't getting right, if it was stuff that I was struggling with in the gym as well, then obviously we'd have a problem. Like obviously I was tired in the fight, but obviously I'm that fit in the gym, and it is one of my best assets. That we know there's no concerns on my fitness levels or anything like that, so it's not something we are too worried about. But there's just going forward, like there won't be that same pressure, and I can stay relaxed, and I think we'll see a different Campbell Hatton this time.
As far as, you know, learning the outside the ring stuff of being a pro, how much of it have you sort of had to learn and seek out advice when it comes to handling yourself as a pro? We're having to do these media rounds now before every fight. Has it been has it been different, or has it been not necessarily a challenge, but a real learning experience as far as composing yourself outside the ring?
Not really, because as far as training and things like that goes, it's I've trained like a pro through and lived like a pro through the amateurs. Like I've always worked hard, and obviously the media side of things, like I learned a lot from just the build up to my debut, which I think will stand me in good stead for my whole career now. Like I don't think I'll ever have as much media work to do as I did that week. So going forward, I think like because we worked that hard in that week, I'll be I'll be in a good position where I know how to handle it.
Thanks, Campbell. Best of luck in your next fight.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, go to Brett Redmond next, please.
Sorry about that, gents. Cheers, Dan. Hi, Campbell. How are you keeping?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. You?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Thank you very much, mate. I'm not going to go around like a robot because it appears, you know, there's lots of questions that have been asked last week. And again, they've come round again, unfortunately. Where do you see yourself? And I suppose you've sat down and gone through this with 258 management, you know, and a lot of these other securities that you've got around you. How do you see your career planning out? And is there a set amount of times that you're going to be out this year, etc.?
No, there's nothing like a proper plan. I think the aim is to get me out as much as possible, really, like just be as busy as I can. I don't think there is a specific number. I think like probably maybe 6 or 7, but if I got offered more, we'd take more. Just literally just as much as we can. Take each fight at a time.
Is there anyone out there at the moment, I suppose, potentially, and it's always easy for people to draw the comparison because of your dad, you know, I want to move away from that. Ricky's Ricky, you're Campbell, and I think this is the way that we need to look at it as fight fans moving on. Is there anyone out there particularly that you aspire to be, or somebody you'd like to emulate at the moment?
Style-wise, someone who I like look up to and try and like model myself on a bit is Canelo. Is just because I think if you look how obviously he's an aggressive, strong, come forward fighter, but he's technically spot on as well, and everything's calculated and he's defensively good. So he's someone who like I try and obviously you've got to find your own style, but someone who I try and pick things up from him, and I think he's someone who if I can pick up little moves he does like would help me.
And if you could vision yourself now from 2 years' time, where do you think you'd like to be?
To be honest, in a time frame, I don't really know. I think in 2 years, like could be challenging for some sort of title, whatever it may be.
Yeah, no, listen, mate, I wish you every bit of success for this weekend, all right? And keep your chin up, buddy. Take care.
Nice one, mate.
Okay, I think that's it, Cam.